The article discusses the two main relationships that Jim Halpert had in the TV show The Office, one with Karen Filippelli and the other with Pam Beesly. While the show ultimately decided that Jim and Pam were meant to be together, the article presents 5 reasons why Jim should have been with Karen instead and 5 reasons why Pam was the better match for him. The first reason given for why Karen was a better match for Jim is that she was clear about wanting to be with him. Pam, on the other hand, took a long time to admit her feelings and even stayed in a bad relationship for too long. The second reason is that Jim was truly in love with Pam and couldn't get over her, despite having a good relationship with Karen. The third reason is that Karen and Jim were more equally matched in terms of ambition, as they both had goals to move up in the company. The fourth reason is that Karen was less of a pushover than Pam and would have reminded Jim to respect her more. Finally, the fifth reason is that Jim and Karen had different lives and friends outside of their relationship, which is healthier. On the other hand, the article also presents 5 reasons why Pam was the better match for Jim. The first reason is that they had a lot in common, having known each other for so long and worked together for many years. They also had a good sense of humor and shared many life experiences. The second reason is that they had similar life goals, both wanting a settled family life with kids and a house. The third reason is that they loved each other a lot and were willing to make sacrifices for each other. The fourth reason is that Pam was more vulnerable than Karen, which allowed Jim to be more protective of her. Finally, the fifth reason is that Jim and Pam had a strong foundation for their relationship and were able to support each other through difficult times. Overall, the article presents a balanced view of the two relationships, acknowledging that both had their strengths and weaknesses, but ultimately arguing that Jim and Pam were the better match due to their strong connection and shared values. ChatGPT. The article also delves into the dynamics between Jim and Karen and Jim and Pam, and how those dynamics impacted the relationships. For example, with Jim and Karen, the article highlights how they had a more equal power dynamic and that Karen challenged Jim in ways that Pam did not. However, it also acknowledges that Karen's directness and assertiveness may have been a bit overwhelming for Jim at times. With Jim and Pam, the article discusses how their friendship and deep understanding of each other made for a solid foundation for their romantic relationship. Additionally, the article notes how Jim's decision to pursue Pam despite the obstacles demonstrated his commitment and dedication to her. However, the article also acknowledges that their relationship wasn't perfect, and they faced challenges such as Pam's engagement to Roy and Jim's move to Stamford. The article also touches on the impact of timing on relationships. For example, it notes that Jim and Karen were in a different place in their lives than Jim and Pam, which may have made it difficult for Jim and Karen to work out long-term. Additionally, the article discusses how the timing of Jim's confession to Pam was crucial, as it allowed them to start their relationship on the right foot. Overall, the article presents a nuanced analysis of the relationships between Jim, Karen, and Pam, taking into account their personalities, goals, and dynamics. It ultimately argues that Jim and Pam were the better match, but it acknowledges that Karen also had many positive qualities that could have made her a good partner for Jim.